This is gonna be a bomber of a video, and if you don't believe me, well, there you go. Hey folks, we're back again with another video, and today we're going to be working on a Marzocchi Bomber Z2 fork with a rail damper. We're going to be doing a full service on this fork, lower 50-hour air spring and damper service. This is not a hard job, and for those of you that own this fork, I am positive that you could do this job and keep your fork running tip-top shape for the season, all right? With that being said, let's just dive right into the tools and parts needed for the job. As for tools, I'm going to break it out into two sections, 50-hour service tools and the air spring and damper service tools in their own section because, well, there's not that many tools needed for those two. No matter which tool, the most important tool on the table right there, safety glasses. This is a fork, it has oil, it has pressure. Wear your safety glasses. Order of use, pencil, pen, and paper to write down your settings, shock pump to, well, take your PSI settings and then fill up the shock later. Then we're going to remove our rebound knob, 2mm Allen. We're going to remove our nuts, 12mm socket for both nuts. Then we're going to separate the shaft. This is to separate the shaft from the lower boots, right? And you might need a mallet to hammer it in order to separate it apart. Then we're going to take a pick, remove the foam ring from the inside. We're going to remove the wipers. You could use a wrench or you could use a tire lever tool that has a really nice thick plastic coating like this one does to help not chip your lower boot, right? Then we're going to, well, take the oil, separate the fork, take the oil, put it in an oil pan. Then we're going to clean the inside of the lowers, right? I have a little ritual that includes a dowel, rubber band, and paper towels. We'll get into that later. Then we're going to put everything together. We're going to smack in our wipers. We're going to need a wiper installation tool, in this case a 34mm, and a torque wrench, and that's pretty much it. Next, let's go into the air spring and damper tools. Next, we're going to work on the air spring. For starters, 26mm chamferless preferred socket in order to take the air cap off. Then we're going to take off a retaining ring at the bottom of the air spring, a flat pick preferred. It's going to make it a little bit easier to get under there and pop it out. Then we're going to separate the air spring from the upper tube. We're going to take the air spring, put it into a 10mm soft jaw hole. And then we're going to take either a 12mm wrench, Nip-X, adjustable wrench, and you might need heat to remove the base nut, but we are going to need a 12mm crowfoot to torque it back down to its specs. And when we torque it down, we will most likely need, well, we will need red Loctite. Now, when we remove the negative plate, we're going to want to put it back in. There is this bullet tool. I think this is the only custom tool here, really, that will help. Not needed technically, but this was a lot safer to put in the negative plate so you don't damage the seal inside the negative plate. We'll get into that later, right? So then we'll be done with, well, we're going to need a dowel, paper towel to clean the inside of the upper leg, right? So then we're going to be done with the air spring and we're going to move to the damper. And there's barely anything needed for the damper. For starters, we need a 2mm Allen to remove the knob, the adjuster knob on the compression stack, right? Then we're going to separate, we're going to need a 26mm to take the, remove the compression stack from the top of the damper body. Then we're going to take the damper, we're going to put in a 10mm hole again, and we are going to use an 8mm socket to remove the compression screw. The rest of the tools are tool list there to do the service, to change all the seals. The rebound is going to be tool list to change all the seals. Torque wrench is going to be needed. Again, we're going to need the dowel and paper towel to clean the upper leg of the damper, and that's pretty much it, folks. If there's anything that I'm missing, I'm pretty sure that we will go over it during the service, all right? Next up, let's go into the parts needed for the job. As for seal kits, let's start off with the 50-hour service seal kit, part number 803-00-945. Then we're going to go to the air spring. The air spring seal kit is 803-00-963. And for the rail damper, 803-01-430. For the lower 50-hour service, we're going to need 20 weight gold oil. And for the damper, we have a choice over here. Originally, it was 5-weight PTFE infused. And now everything's moving towards 4-weight. I'm probably going to use the 5-weight so I can get rid of this bottle. It's not going to make a difference, really. It's for grease, saran butter, slick oleum, slick honey, whatever you want, whatever your preference is, all right? Well, let's start working on this fork. Before we work on a fork, do yourself a favor, clean it best you can, especially inside the steer tube over here. behind the arch and at the bottom of the legs, right? We do not want dirt falling into the fork when we put it all back together. So make sure this area over here especially is all clean. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take down our settings, right? This is a simple fork, air, rebound, and well, we don't have that much. We don't have any compression clicks. So first let's start off with our rebound. We're going to take the knob and turn it counterclockwise to the fully open position and count the clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11. 11 clicks in this case. Then turn it around, open up the air cap, put the air cap on the side. Let's take our shock pump. And where are we at? We are at 84. So we lose some in here, right? So 84 plus, I'd say 3 minimum. Now, remove the air slowly. There's no rush over here. We want both sides to equalize, to empty out equally, okay? So the slower you do this, the easier it will be later. Next, we're going to take off the rebound knob. So I can't see the screw inside. Let's move it up. Take a 2 millimeter, go inside. Do not remove the bolt. Just loosen it until you can pull off the knob and put it on the side. Next, we're going to take off the nuts from the bottom. 12 millimeter socket, right? Let's start with the air side. Let's loosen it. Go to the rebound side, loosen that one. All right, let's take them and remove the nuts. There is a washer on one. That's a good thing. And make sure we get a crush washer on this one, or is it going to stick in? We will find out in a second. And the crush washer stuck in there. We will get it out later. Put your nuts on the side. To separate the shafts from the lower leg, Fox makes this tool. You can buy aftermarket ones. It's nothing more than an M8 threaded female. You can make the same thing out of a coupler basically, right? So you take it, screw it in about 3/4 threads, not all the way. Take a mallet and tap it loose just like that. That's one side, and we repeat the same to the other. Next, we take our oil pan and we separate the lowers from the upper. In fact, crush washer fell out while I turn it over, and we just separate them. All right, let's see what we got going on over here. Yep, we got oil going on both sides. This is in good shape. Whoever had this sort of took care of it, I guess, right? We definitely have equal oil coming out at both sides. That's a very good thing. So next, we're going to take out the wipers. Now, you're better off doing this on the ground because on a table like this, it's just too high. You don't get enough leverage to take them out, right? Basically, what you want to grab is some type of tool, like a wrench. You could use a wrench. Just be careful you don't chip your lower leg. Or you could use a tool like this that has a hard plastic coating on the outside, right? And what we want to do is go underneath the wiper. And then we just want to lift it up. Oh, it's hard on a table like that. Here's one. And it's amazing how much easier this is on the floor, folks. Come on. Clean the inside of the fork. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the hole in the bottom, and I'm going to take a good amount of alcohol, put it inside. Put a good amount, be generous. And what we're going to do is shake it around and try and break up the oil off the walls that's in there. Just shake it round and round, up and down. Okay, just like that. And then first we're going to empty it out on this side. All right, then we're going to repeat. Same thing. Then shake it all around, and then empty it out on the other side. Let that drain. We're going to grab our dowel. We're going to cover, leave about 1.5 inches, cover the dowel, loosely wrap it, very loosely wrap it. All right. Yeah. Do not tightly wrap it. Put a rubber band in the middle. Then we're going to cut or tear the edges to sort of make like a mop. Oops. Oh well. Good enough. Then we're going to spray alcohol back in here again. We're going to go in there with our mop. Turn it counterclockwise first to get that mopping action go. Let it sit at the bottom. Hairs. Her hairs get everywhere, I swear. Let it sit at the bottom so it soaks up as much as possible from there. And then the whole goal, the reason I tear it is so we could clean each edge, both edges of the bushings on the inside, right? So just go in there and twist and clean. Okay. Just like that. That's round one. Let's get rid of this guy. Put on the side, and we do it again. Again, leave about 1.5 inches. Loosely wrap it. Do not tightly wrap it. Pinch it in the middle. Take our rubber band. There we go. Tear it. Tear this side. Spray alcohol. And go in there and repeat. Then let it sit at the bottom so it soaks up as much as it can. And just go up and down, try and clean the tube, and just as importantly, the edges of the bushings. This already looks much, much, much cleaner coming out. Look at that. That is clean. So now what we can do is clean the outer edge up here. Make sure you point it upside down so everything falls out, right? Clean the inside here. That's pretty important for now, for when we close it back up later. Okay. And then I'm not going to show it, but repeat the other side, the exact same procedure. I will be back when I'm done. So we're done cleaning the inside. Make sure you clean the bottom as well. We want to make sure we get the best connection to the lower legs with the crush washer, right? We don't want any dirt in between the crush washer and the lower leg. So next what we're going to do is inspect the bushings. There's 2 sets, one over here and one down here. We just want to make sure there's no major damage. Put it up against the light, look at them, and see if you can find anything that's like really bad, right? I mean, there'll be rub marks and wear marks. This one's actually hard to see like this, but ultimately the bottom ones are around here. And this one looks good. And then the other ones are up here. Those are easy to see. That's just dust. That's in good shape. That's in good shape. We are good to go. Next step, what we're going to do is grab our container. We're going to take our foam. Is that dirt in there? Let me clean that out. Make sure your container's clean, just in case. Where's it? Oh, it's at the bottom. We're going to take our foam rings. We're going to put them in the container. And what we're going to do is saturate them in oil. Put some extra oil, because we're going to use the extra oil later to fill up the lower legs. Okay. Put that on the side. Let's dunk these in here. Squish them down a bit. Let them soak in oil as we squish them down. Okay, then we're going to take this, cover it, make sure to cover it, put it on the side. And that is part 1 of the 50-hour service. If you want to go to part 2 of the 50-hour service, skip to the end of this video. Next, what we are going to work on is the air spring. For the air spring, first we're going to remove the top cap, 26mm chamferless, flat socket preferred, okay? Get on it. This is going to be stiff. And there we go. Let's unscrew it as much as we can. We do the rest by hand. Ooh, that was unexpected. It's a little bit of pressure, negative pressure right there. Look at that. That sucked it all up. That's going to be a pain in the butt. Actually, no, because we have the tool. So we're going to take this with a single token and put it on the side for now. Next, we want to remove this retaining ring. Now, this is I hate these retaining rings. They're a pain in the butt. So there is an angled side, and we need to get underneath the angled side, right? This can take a few shots. Do it with a blunt pick, if preferred, if you have one, right? Oop, there you go. I got it. That's a fluke, actually. So basically what we want to do is take it and walk it out slowly. Okay, just like that. Walk it out. And boom. I prefer the other ones where you just grab with a retaining ring plier and remove them. So we take that, put it on the side. Since this is sunk in there, what we're going to need now is a little tool to help us pull it out just like that. Before we work on the air spring, let's clean out the upper tube, right? So first, let's clean out the bottom and make sure but there's no dirt where the retaining ring seat is. Grab a paper towel, take it, push it through with the dowel, just like that. Comes out the other side. Then what we can do, spray some alcohol in there, grab a paper towel, scrunch it up into a ball, squeeze it in there, make sure it's nice and tight on the edge. Come on, nice and tight on the edges. Nice tight ball in there. And again, grab a paper towel, force it down the other side. Then what we will do is clean this side facing down, clean the threads. See what I mean? We don't want stuff like that falling on the inside. Okay, make sure the threads are clean. Make sure this area over here is clean. There's no dirt there, so it doesn't fall in when we put the cap back on. Okay, let's inspect the inside. This side, we have to make sure there's no scratches on it. Any scratches on this side will impact the air spring's performance. And this one is clean. We are looking good. We are going to do a full service on this thing. So the first thing we need to do before we do anything is let's remove this O-ring here. Okay, try and squeeze it out a little bit. There we go. Let's go underneath it because we might need heat to remove the base nut. And we don't want to burn the O-ring. Next, what we're going to do is put some alcohol, clean the shaft well, make sure there's no grease on the shaft. 10mm soft jaw hole, make sure there's no grease on your soft jaw hole. Give yourself about 2 inches. We don't want to squeeze too close to the base nut or else you'll just be clamping the base nut onto the threads, right? So let's push this out a bit. Okay, a couple of inches. All right, now we might need heat, we might not need heat. Let's find out. Well, I'm probably going to need heat. Let's put this out of the way. And that's why we removed that O-ring. Let's warm up the Loctite in there. Let's see now. Let's make this a little bit tighter. And there we go. That is on there real hard. That's for sure. Wow, that is tight, tight, tight. Okay. Wow. That is loads of Loctite right in there. Holy cow. That's ridiculous. Okay. Finally loosening up. So if it seems tight, guys, look at all that Loctite red. Okay, well, we separated it. Okay, now what we're going to do, that's the seal we're going to change in there. Let's put this on the side and we can remove this just to say we cleaned them. And that is the entire assembly. Next, let's start cleaning. First thing we're going to do is try and get as much of this Loctite red off this base nut. And then we are going to go in there and remove this washer. O-ring. Put that on the side. Let's go back in there again, clean those fine threads, remove all that Loctite red. Then we're going to try and get the Loctite red out from the inside of the tube. That's where these little wire brushes come in handy. Wow, it's looking pretty good already. All right, let's grab one of these guys, twist them, sink them in there, and try and get out whatever you can. Wow, that's looking real clean actually. Yeah, we are good. Let's start working on seals. So if you look at the left over here, I opened up the seal kit. I ordered them by size so we can make them easier to find, right? So first what we're going to do is we are going to replace the seal on the base nuts. Seals. So there's two seals over here. This is the old one. This is the new one. Out with the old, in with the new. And that is this one there for sure. Out with the old, it's filled with Loctite, in with the new. So now what we're going to do is take some butter or Silicoleum, whatever your preference is. So the smaller, thicker seal goes on the smaller threads, right? So we're going to take it and we're going to squish it down into its seat. Don't get stupid gloves. Don't get gloves caught on them. And then same thing with the outer one. Put a little bit on the grease on it and then slide it into its seat down on the larger threads. Base nut is done. Next, let's work on this piece here. We have a thick seal on the outside, and on the inside we have, I believe it's a quad ring actually. Is it a quad ring or is it? It should be a quad ring. Yep, it's a quad ring, right? So now what we're going to do, take some alcohol, clean this guy up a bit. Make sure we clean the seats real well. Okay, go on the inside, make sure there's no debris in there. Clean it real well. All right, so now this is a U-cup or a skirt seal. This is a quad ring. This is the replacement, right? Yes, it is. Out with the old, in with the new, and out with the old, or in with the new, out with the old. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab a good amount of grease and fill up the seat on the inside. Okay. And a little bit of grease on this guy here. And we are going to, the trick is with this, is we need to make sure we don't twist them when we put them in. So put them in one side first. Make sure he sinks into that one side. See, it's not sunk in. Now it is sunk in. And now, oops, was sunk in. Yeah. Sink in there. In your seat. There you go. Now it's sunk in its seat. And now we could try and squish in the rest. Should have pulled out my plastic seal. My plastic pick. Okay, come on. Let's do it from this side now. Since you're nearly sunk in all the way around. Oop, is that it? Yep. Now we need to inspect it, make sure he's not twisted, and it is not twisted. So now we're going to grab again, good amount of grease, fill up this whole, oops, what am I doing? Grab a good amount of grease, fill up this seat here, fill it up well. Okay. And we're going to take the seal and boom, put them in. Now we're going to take our quad ring, or we're going to remove our quad ring. The old quad ring. Make sure this whole shaft is clean. Clean the seat. New quad ring over here. Again, what we're going to do is, let's use my finger. Let's fill up the seat. All right. Grab our quad ring. Now this one, absolutely make sure we don't twist them. Clean up the excess grease, put it on top. Not twisted. Now let's clean these parts because you can see there's actually some Loctite red on it. Make sure it's all free of any debris. Same goes with the seat, Loctite red on it. Dust particles, make sure it's free of debris. Just like that. Make sure your fingers are free of debris. And then let's put it back together. Grab this cup, put it down like that. Grab the bumper, put it in like that. So you can take the chance and install this without the bullet tool, but you risk, because this is a sharp edge, you risk damaging the quad ring on the inside. You could literally tear it, right? That's where these bullet tools come in. Just put a little bit of grease on the outside. Now, if you look at it, there's a thin side and a thicker side. The thin side goes in, the thicker side on the bottom. So the thin side goes towards the quad ring, just like that. To close it up again, first, let's make sure that our threads are free of grease. So the fine thread over here, take some alcohol because we are going to put Loctite red. Let's try and get the best connection we can. Then we're going to go in here, try and make sure that, oops, sorry about that. Hopefully the other part was in frame, but you sort of get it. Let's go in here with the alcohol and make sure we have no grease on the inside. Looking good over there. Again, all I did was clean the threads in case it didn't show before. I'm not sure. All right, so now we're going to clean the outside of the shaft. Make sure there's no grease on it. We want a really tight connection here. Okay, again, let's put it in a 10mm hole. Again, give it a couple, give it a couple of inches. All right. Am I good here? Bring this out a little bit. So great. Let's do that again. There we go. All right, don't over tighten it. Now what we're going to do, take some Loctite red, put it on the threads on the inside, or you could do it over here. Just when you put it in, just make sure you try not to touch the edges, right? So you can put a thin coat over here, just like that. Now the trick is make sure it's sitting in the seats or in the threads. All right, just like that. Now make sure we don't touch the sides, or try and touch the sides the least amount possible. Screw them by hand first. Okay, getting harder and harder. Unlike me. Turn it around. Come on. Round and round till we make it to the base. Right there? Nope. I think I'm there. Yep. And now grab our torque wrench, 90-degree angle crow's foot, 5.7 Newton meters, 5.85. And our air spring's ready to go back in. Before we put our air spring back in, let's clean the last of the parts. Let's take out the last seal here, put it on the side, clean the seats, clean the threads. Okay. Go on, clean your token. To replace this, find its replacement. It's got to be this one right here. Yep. This one right here. Grab a little bit of slick honey or SRAM butter. Put it back into its seat. Just like that. Slide the token back on there. Let's clean our retaining ring. Make sure we don't bring any dirt with it. Before we assemble, I'm going to grab a syringe and I'm going to fill it up with 4 cc's of 20 weight oil from where the foam rings are. Oh, that's good enough right there. Let's close this back up before we spill it and make a big mess. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab our air spring, right? First we're going to put, boy, I got to get my other bucket in here. We're going to take grease, we're going to put it on the quad ring here. Okay, put some up here, on top. Sort of coat everything here. And then what I do is I'm going to create like a dam over here. All right, let's put some grease over here. And the reason I create a dam is I'm going to take 1 cc and put it on the inside of the dam. Just like that. All right, now we're going to squish it up. Right, make sure you hold the shaft down and the piston assembly up. And we are going to put it in until it can't go in no more. Next, we need to put this retaining ring back in there, right? So basically we want to separate it just like that. We want to put the bottom side in first into the seat. Make sure you don't touch the walls, right? Now this could be a little bit tricky. I don't like this one. Why don't they just do a consistent using the other ones where you could do it this way, right? So what we want to do is tuck in that one side first, and then, nope, that's not going to work. Let's try that again. It's going to take a couple of shots. Just make sure you don't scratch your shaft over there, right? So it's a little bit tricky trying to show you guys on camera, really. Okay, so what we're going to do first is put that side in, and then we are going to walk it around just like that, right? Walk it around, walk it around, walk it around, walk it around. Come on, nearly done. And come on, hands are greasy. Get in there. There we go. Now let's test it. We should be able to spin it around a bit. Or we shouldn't be able to spin it around. Let's pull on the shaft down. Don't push up, just pull down. Yep, we are good. On the top side, we're going to take the remaining 3 milliliters, put them in there. Like that. Put this on the side, grab our cap. Always by hand first. Okay, can't do it anymore. Torque wrench, 24 Newton meters. Careful here. Make sure you get good connection. Okay, come on. 24.4. Finish it up. We're going to fill up the air side with about 20 psi for now. Give or take. There we go. 23. Good enough. And our air spring is done. Next, we work on the damper. For the damper, the first thing we're going to do is take a 2 millimeter Allen and hold on the knob, screw the, or unscrew counterclockwise, and the whole knob should, oh, thought I was done. Oh, there we go. Take the cap, put it on the side. Clean all this gunk from here for now. To remove the damper, 26 millimeter chamferless socket, flat socket preferred, right? Since I just used it. Now this might be a little bit stiff. Now start at the bottom like this, or if you're able to vertically mount it, come on, get in there, what's going on? Okay, first let's loosen it, right? So, there we go. So now lift it up, vertically preferred, because we are going to pull the damper out of there, the damper body out of there, and ultimately there is going to be oil underneath it. Yeah. Got it. There we go. So let's pull it. If you're vertical, that is preferred, right? Make sure it's vertical. It'll make your life easier over here. So be careful. Oil will want to come out. There we go. Now what we're going to do, spill out the oil that's in there. And we have 5-way PTFE. All right. Just move the shaft up and down. Let's get all the oil out. And just give it a minute for that to drain. When disposing oils, please do it responsibly. Don't put it down a sink. Don't put it down a toilet. Don't put it in the garbage. Don't throw it outside. Don't put it down a sewer. Put it in a bottle that clearly states don't drink, dangerous, and then give it to a local bike shop, auto shop, or somebody. They will know what to do with it, how to dispose it properly, all right? To remove the rebound shaft, we need to remove this retaining ring. Now, one side is lifted, right? These are easier. Just go underneath the lifted side and walk it out, right? Might take a couple of shots, but you'll be able to, come on, I'll just spun around on me. Oh, you guys can't see it. So again, there's a lifted side. Always more difficult on camera. Go underneath the lifted side, pop it up, and just walk it out just like that. Take it, put it on the side. Now we should be able to remove our rebound side. Put it on the side. Just like with the air spring, first let's clean the tube on the inside. Grab a paper towel, squish it into a nice tight ball, and push to the other side. Spray some alcohol in there. Grab another paper towel, lint-free preferred. Once again, squish it into a ball, nice and tight. To the other side. Spin this around. Let's clean the threads real well. Again, clean the dirt in this pocket over there. Okay, then we inspect it. Unlike typical damper bodies, this one matters if there's scratches on the inside because the pistons are actually using the stanchion tube. It's not like a cartridge, right? And this one's in great condition, not one scratch, everything's looking perfect. We can put this on the side for now. First, we're gonna work on the compression stack. Let's clean the shaft. Remove all grease. 10mm soft jaw hole. Then we're going to grab an 8mm socket, loosen the top bolt. Wait a second. Yeah. How that Loctite's really holding on, man. It's not even a large bolt. Okay, be careful here. There's a bolt. There's a spring underneath the bolt. So there's a spring underneath the bolt. Let's keep these two together. Put them on the side. Right, then you have some shims. Oh, we can take the whole stack out. There's a shim on top. Right. So again, just that one shim, I believe. Yep, that one shim. So we can take that shim. Actually, on the bottom, we have more shims. There's our shim stack. That's what I thought. Okay, so on the bottom, we have our other shims, okay? So let's take out the shims from this side. Let's put this down on the side. Let's separate the shims now one by one. So the largest, I believe, yes, largest goes on top. First, second, third, and fourth. That should be it. Yep, that is pretty much it right there. Now we can take the head off. Okay, be careful. There is a pin over here. There's a seal in there we're going to change. Let's take the pin and the hat. Next, we're going to remove. Ooh, close one. Let's unscrew counterclockwise compression dial. Or you could hold the compression dial and just turn the mechanism clockwise. All right, we're going to screw it because there is a seal in here. Oh. Pull it up. There we go. And that is the entire assembly. On the left over here, I opened up the seal kit, organized all the seals by size so we can find them easily, right? First, let's start off with the needle. Let's pinch it a little bit and get underneath it and lift it up. And over. And get underneath. There we go. All right. Just, oop, I had it. Let's grab this guy. Okay. There we go. Much easier. Let's take it. Oops. Make sure we don't mess things up. On the side. And since we're here, let's change out this seal here. Let's clean out the whole assembly, get whatever dirt we can from in there. Clean the threads. And clean it all best you can. There we go. Now, let's find the replacement seals. That has to be this one here. Yes, it is. Out with the old, in with the new. And then this one here is that this one? Or is it this one? Nope, it's definitely this one here. Yep. Out with the old, in with the new. Let's take a little bit of butter. Put on the seal, put on the shaft. Let's bring it over the threads. Yeah. There we go. Done. And just a little bit of butter. Let's put this back in its seat. Done. Now we can take this, screw it all the way back down inside. Actually, let me leave it out for now. Let's remove the seal from in here. Right, there's a quad ring, I believe. Is it a seal? It's a seal. It's only that one, right? Yep. Right. Just clean any old oil, because the oil actually was pretty dirty in this thing. Okay, find a replacement. That is absolutely it. Let's just take a little dab of grease. Come on. Let's put that back in there. Might be a little bit tricky. Let's fold it, sink it down, put it on the seat one side. Make sure it's sitting at one side. Get in there. There we go. There's flat ones. There we go. Now that it's sitting on one side, let's try and tuck in the rest. Just like, oop, nearly there. Don't pop out. Let's see if we can pick it up like this. So close. Come on. Get in. Ooh, so close. Just this little bit here, and we are done. That is it. And we only have this one on the outside here. This is like a Teflon ring, right? Actually, this is a cup. This is a skirt seal, I believe. Let me check. Yep. It is a skirt seal. So let's try and squeeze it, go underneath. Just like that. Be careful with it. Yep, it's a skirt seal, right? So the skirt always faces the oil, or a U-cup, whatever you want to call it. All right, so if we notice, this side's a cup, right? And this side's flat. So that's the replacement for short. Let's clean this thing. Okay, that's clean. Let's just put a little bit of grease on the inside over here and make our life a little bit easier. Now this was the top side, so the U-cup needs to face the oil, because the way it works, the way U-cups work, they take pressure on one side but not the other one. So on one side over here, we're going to have oil constantly, putting pressure on it, which is going to spread the skirt seal. It's going to spread the sides, right? So we need to put it in just like this, right? Come on. Make sure it does not twist on you, like I believe it just did on me. So let's put it in the other way. Let's try going this way. Don't twist. In fact, let's see if we could drag it around like that. There we go. There we go. Done. Now it's in. And we are good. Now we put it all together. We're going to start off by putting our needle inside the upper compression body over here, right? So we're going to put a little bit of oil. This 5-weight oil. You can use 4-weight if you want on a needle. All right, just put a little bit of oil on it. And we slide it in. And we turn it clockwise until it goes all the way down. Snap it in and basically turn it clockwise until we are fully locked. There we go, right over there, right? So then, let's clean the body, remove any grease from it, our oil, put in our 10 millimeter, just like that. Okay, so we have the holes on the side. We're going to take our pin, I'm going to put it through. Oop. I might have gone a little bit too low. Yep. Let's unscrew the needle. See, the needle comes down. So we don't want it to go, we don't want it to block that hole. So let's just thread it out a bit. There we go. Oop. That's not what I wanted. Let's put that back in there again. And there we go. We're in. So needle's in. Now we change the seal, put our head back on, just like that. It's a little bit tighter. Okay, make sure that's sitting nice and solid in there. Then we're going to put our shims back in. Make sure we clean them. It's only 4 shims. Smallest one, second smallest one, and the other 2 are the same size. Right. Now let's make sure these are sitting correctly. Yep. Now we're going to take our piston here, put it in just like that. Then we're going to take our check shim, put it on top. Then we're going to take our spring. Then I didn't clean out the Loctite that was in here. I need to clean out that Loctite. To clean out the Loctite, grab one of my brushes. Let's go in here, clean those threads, because we're going to have to put Loctite on this thing again. And that looks clean. So what we're going to do now is grab our Loctite red. Let's put drop on the inside. Ooh, that's probably too much, but we will figure that one out. Now what we're going to do, screw it in. Be careful here. Okay. Why are you giving me a hard time? There we go. Now watch out, we want to clean out the Loctite from the top, right? Don't get all over your fingers. Screw it in my hand just like that. Wipe off all the remainder. Okay, then we're going to take our torque wrench. 1.8 Newton meters. Try and be precise with this one. Don't over torque it. Yeah, I was able to screw it down more. Okay. There we go, 1.81. Now let's remove the rest of the Loctite. Okay, now we want to make sure that our check shim floats, that it's not pinched, and it is floating. Cool. Our compression stack is done. Next, the rebound. For the rebound, again, we have a couple of options, right? We have our glide ring, we have this seal over here, this O-ring, and this small O-ring over here. Inside, there is a U-cup on this guy, but they don't give it in this kit over here. They actually provide it in the air spring kit. So this was part of the air spring kit, this U-cup. So we do have the option to change it on the inside, all right? And we're going to do that. Technically, you don't have to, but I mean, why not? If we have it, why not use it, put a brand new one in there, right? So I'm going to leave this one on the side. So the first thing we are going to do is remove this O-ring here. In reality, is you could dismantle this more, but it's pointless because they don't give us any O-rings to replace. So let's put that O-ring over there, right? Now, when it comes to removing, this got to be very careful with it. We want it to remove it as centered as possible. Don't touch the sides, right? So just like, it doesn't want to come out. Pourquoi? That's because it's snagging on the U-cup, I bet. Yep, I bet you anything. There we go. All right. So our U-cup is in there. So while we're at it, let's take out our glide ring from here. All right, it's the old glide ring. We'll change that one out. So that's pretty much done. Again, it's pointless going any deeper. We don't have anything else to change in there. Now we have this seal on the outside here. And on the inside, again, we have a U-cup. So for the U-cup, if we notice the U-cup, the opening part is down here at the bottom. So this is going to stop the oil from the lowers coming up into the damper itself, right? So let's go behind the U-cup over here and let's try and pull it out. Let's try and use this guy. All right, oop, I got it. Just go on top and try and just basically squeeze them out just like that. There we go. All right, nearly there. Yep, definitely nearly there. Watch the bushing. Be careful on the bushing on the side. There we go, don't touch it. And that is our U-cup. And just to show you that it's the same U-cup. In fact, I wonder if the letters above match. Let me check that. Yep, I was right. The letters match above 036-01- whatever that was. 020. So we know we have the replacement, right? So out with the old and with the new. This one has to be that one there. This one has to be this one here for sure. Now with the glide ring, we have two glide rings over here. I believe it's this one here, right? And thickness on this one seems thinner. Yep, this one's definitely thinner. This one's the thicker one, so make sure you get the right glide ring, get the thicker one, right? The thicker walled one. So that's the new one, that's the old one. Let's put it on the side. So now let's clean everything quick. Right. Let's clean this guy here, clean the top, make sure we clean the seat for the glide ring. Now, clean the seat here. And we're also going to want to go inside and clean that seat real well. In fact, let's grab a blunt pick. There we go. All the way around. Yep, nice and clean in there. So I'm going to put grease on the inside. Okay. Just like that. Now, take some of that grease, put it on the cup. Now we want the skirt to be facing downwards, right? So that's the bottom, this is the top. In other words, this goes in the damper, this goes into the, or faces the lower leg. This is the U-cup, so we want the cup itself or the skirt side to face the lower leg. So let's put one side in just like this. Sink one side in the seat. And there we go. Sunk in the seat. Let's see if we could sink the rest in. Oop. No, don't come out. You go in there. I went just like that. Where's my, there we go. So I sort of took a plastic pick and carved this out to help with situations like this. Okay. And let's put it in. Ooh, nearly there. One little edge left. One little edge, whole middle. We will get it. It's a little bit stiff. There we go. Over there. Ooh, so close. Okay. That's that side. We want to make sure we are not twisted and that we are in all the way. That's looking good right there. we are in. Cool. Let's take the rest of this grease, put on the seal here, put that on the outside. Now, we don't have to worry about the U-cup when we put this in because the flat side is on the back over here, right? The opening side is at the bottom. So we could just slip this in, just make sure you don't hit the sides again. Put a little bit of grease on here. There we go. Now let's put our seal at the bottom. Fine frame. There's the bottom seal. Come on. Come on. Oh, for crying out loud. Give me a hard time. The last seal. There we go. All right, and then we have our glide ring, which is going to be bigger. We will fit it when we put it into the upper leg. Installing the rebound shaft is similar to installing the air spring shaft, right? So the tricky part is to make sure that this glide ring stays in place and gets past the seat for the spring over here, the C-clip, I should say, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of grease and we're going to put it around this shaft right here. Again, it's similar to the negative plate and the air spring, right? Basically is a negative plate in all reality. So now again, this is going to be the tricky part right here. So we want to put this in. Problem is, it's going to be hard for us to make sure that we get it. See what I mean? It's going to want to open up into that first seat, and that first seat is for the spring, if that makes sense, right? So we need to make sure that we could get past this. There's two ways around it, really, but let's try this way first, right? So what we're going to do is put this in. Okay, try and get one side. See what I mean by it opens up right away? And then it could come off. Am I in? So now we want to test it. Yep, we are in. So now bring it down just like that. And lock the whole thing in just like you do the air spring, right? So the shaft's all the way down. Well, I just pulled the shaft off. That didn't help. So now I bet you I'm stuck. Now I bet you it popped out. Yep, that's what happens. It'll pop out and it'll... So we got to be a little bit careful here, right? I'm going to pick, so I get that out of here. Okay, rock it out. Let's try that again. So we're going to put this on. Okay, let's make our life easier for now. Now let's sink it in and try and get it past the seat. There we go. So we're past the seat and we see it's not stuck in there. Let's bring the piston down into the seat, push it till it gets stuck in, then bring this rod down, right? Just like that. Now we're going to take our clip. We have the flat side that we used to lift it out. We have the other side that's normal. We're going to put that normal side in first, just like this, and then make sure we are seated all the way around. You should hear the click. There's one click. Yep, we are clicked in. Now we try and pull out. This one we don't have to worry about negative air, right? So we are good. Before we fill it up with oil, let's prep everything. For starters, for oil, we have two options again. 4-weight has replaced all the 5-weight, but I'm going to go with the 5-weight PTFE just so I could empty out this bottle. Now, a graduated cylinder is preferred over here because we need to put in a specific amount of oil into the upper tube. If you look at this chart over here, you'll see that for the regular chassis, which this is, it's 157 cc's. And for the e-bike version of this chassis, it's 135 cc's. So this is a 100 milliliter graduated cylinder. I filled it up to 100 right now. And then I'm going to fill it up another 57 in the second part when I fill it up, right? And I put the added in here, so I'll just figure it all out later. We're going to need our 26 millimeter chamferless socket and your torque wrench set to 24 Newton meters. Now, as for the compression stack, there is one more seal technically in here. Where's my pick? So for the knob to protect it from, or protect water from getting on the inside. All right, so we got that seal over here. Let me just clean everything on the inside, clean the seat of the seal just to make sure there's no grit. All right, let's put that. Now we're going to go to our seal kit, find a replacement, and that one has to be it. Okay, then this seal, we're going to need to grease it with regular waterproof grease, not slick honey or SRAM butter, right? So just give it some waterproof grease over here. Well, waterproof grease, some thicker grease, right? Because again, the job for this seal is to stop water from coming underneath the cap, and the seat is at the top over here, so just make sure you install it correctly. Might take you a couple of tries to get it in there. Yeah. All right, got it on that side. Let's grab our pick again. Scoop this guy in there. Sink this up. Come on. Sink this guy down. Come on. There we go. Now we just have this corner. Oop, nearly there. Come on. There we go. So now it's inside. Let's wipe any grease off the outside. Okay. Now what we're also going to do is we're going to apply a thin coat of SRAM butter or slick honey onto this skirt seal over here. And I mean just a thick coat, just to help it go inside, to help it stick inside, right? The grease will mix up with the oil. They're compatible, so it's not an issue. All right, just like that, one thin coat. Now, the last thing we need to do to the compression knob, we're going to take our knob and we're going to make sure we're in the fully closed position, right? So find a fully closed position and then bring it halfway, 180, just like that, okay? And we will leave it there. We will take off our knob. And now we are ready to fill up the upper tube with oil. So you are going to do this vertically, okay? So try and mount the fork vertically in order to fill it up with oil, cycle the shaft in order to remove air from the rebound, and finish up this job. For me, it's going to be a little bit challenging. I'm going to do it on an angle. That's actually going to be real challenging for me. So do not attempt this on an angle. Do it vertically. Do yourself a favor. So like I said, I had already filled up this graduated cylinder with 100 cc's. So we're going to start with 100 cc's. I'm going to put it in there. All right. It'll all pour out. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cycle the rebound until no bubbles come out. Could you see that? I don't know if you can see that. I don't think you can see that. Right? So I'm going to cycle it until we remove all the bubbles from the bottom of the rebound. Just don't push the piston above the oil. Okay, give it a few strokes. I can't see it well. I'm going to have to put it under light just to make sure. Right now it's on an angle, the light's not getting inside, so I will be back in a second. All the air bubbles have been removed from the rebound. Now, I filled up the graduated cylinder with another 57 cc's evenly, right? So now I'm going to take the remainder and I'm going to pour that in here. Let it all pour out. So now I have 157 cc's, just about perfectly to the drop. Okay, now let's put this to the side. Now, what I'm going to do, and again, you're going to do this vertically, right? We are going to install the compression stack. Take your time over here, do it slowly. Just slide it in there, roll it in there. Okay, you hear the air escaping. Then it's going to get a little bit stiff. Roll it down. All right, again, it's going to be a lot easier vertically. And then just take it and screw it in by hand first. Okay. Grab. Again, do this vertically. Don't do it on an angle like I did. Okay, nearly there. Let me use the ratchet. Okay, and then we are going to take our torque wrench, 24 Newton meters. There we go. Oops. What the? Yeah. Okay. All right, 24 Newton meters. Now we go on to testing it. To test it, if you remember, we were in mostly the open position. We're going to cycle the shaft, and it should have nice, smooth, very little noises. These are relatively loud dampers, to be honest, but you should hear very little noises. You'll hear the glide ring, so on and so forth, right? So now what we need to do is find the lock position. And we're going to take our knob. Now we have to turn it about halfway. So let's take our knob, put it down, and turn it clockwise until it gets really stiff, or until the shaft does not move. Like right there, the shaft does not move at all, not even a millimeter if I compress it. So we are in the fully locked position, right? So now if I take it and I bring it to the open, there we go. We are working real well. All right, so let's bring it to the locked position. Okay, just like that. Now we are going to take our screw. We're going to put it in. Take our 2 millimeter. Screw this thing in. Hold on to the knob. Screw it in. Don't over tighten it. Just like that. So this is the front of the fork. The lock is going to be at the back around the 6, 7 o'clock position in there, right? So I am completely locked out. I mean, this thing doesn't budge. And then if I flip it around all the way to about, let's say, 11 o'clock in this case, if I go up and down, there we go. We are going up and down. And if we go in between, it's like variable. It should be a little bit stiffer, right? Just a little bit. There we go. Our fork is working perfectly. For part 2 of the 50-hour service, I took the rest of the stuff out of the kit, right? So I have the wipers over here. Let's take those. Let's take off the springs and leave them on the side for now, right? So what we're going to do, we are first going to take a foam ring. We're going to put it inside. Okay, then we're going to take a wiper. We're going to put a little bit of grease on the outside, just thin coat. Then we're going to use our wiper installation tool. Make sure where the rings goes on the inside. And let's see if we can knock them in by hand. There we go. Perfect, by hand. So then we're going to do the same thing to the second one. Put the foam ring in. Put a little bit of grease on the outside. Put it in the wiper tool. And done. Equally in. All right. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to grab some grease. And we're going to fill up the concave part of the wipers. Just like that. I put a good amount here for other people usually because, well, most people don't regularly service their forks. Good, this is going to be perfect. I'm going to be able to run out this canister. I got a whole other can of butter waiting to be opened. Oops, tell me I wasn't framed the whole time. Okay. There we go. Now, here's an opportunity to clean the backside. Clean your backside. You don't want to go riding around with a dirty backside. All right, so go behind there. It's the best opportunity you'll have in order to avoid all sorts of mud and dirt collecting in there. Next, we're going to take out our sag ring. Put the old one on the side. Make sure we clean the seat, clean your stanchions, make sure there's no dirt on them whatsoever. Nice and clean for when we put in the boot. Okay, now we're going to take our new sag ring. Do not put grease on it. And the stanchion, I can't even see the camera's in the way. Then we're going to take our metal rings. Put one on each fork. Move our nuts out of the way for now. So then, crown facing down, serial number facing up, right? So inside, try and tuck one side first, and then make sure you don't fold the seals, and push it through. There we go. Okay, so right now we see on both sides the shafts came out. We need to pull them back because we need to fill it with oil. To fill it with oil, if we look at that chart right over there, you will see that for both the damper and the air side, we need 10 cc's of the 20 weight oil, right? So I have a syringe over here. I filled it up to 10 cc's. I'm going to fill up the damper side first. Just like that. Now, let's fill it up one more time to 10 cc's. And we're going to fill up the air side. Done. Now that we filled it up, let's take a chance to clean the mounts where the washers are going to stick to. Again, we want the best possible connection. Okay, then what we're going to do, squeeze this together until they both come out. Next, we're going to take a washer, put on the damper side first. We're going to take our nut, screw it down by hand, always by hand first. Okay, take the second washer, put it on the inside of this one, screw it down by hand, bring it down until it gets stiff. We grab our torque wrench, 6 Newton meters, 6.1, and 6.08. Next, grab our springs. Try and put them all the way around. Grab a plastic pick if you have one. If you have a metal one, just be very careful. That is one. And give me a hard time. Come on, stop giving me a hard time, dummy. And that is 2. Now we want to put the rebound knob in for good, right? So we need to find that dimple over here. We need to align the screw on top of the dimple. And we screw it down with a 2mm. Make sure we're in there. Make sure it does not move back and up and down. Let's test it. Yep, we are working perfectly. Now we take alcohol, spray it all down. Grab a clean cloth and we remove any oil and grease from the outside from all these little spots, especially around the knobs, around everywhere. Okay, want to make sure we have no grease on the outside or oil. And ta-da! There you have it, folks. You just finished fully servicing a 2021 Marzocchi Bomber Z2 fork with a rail damper. Very easy fork to service. If you own one of these, there's no reason why you shouldn't service it at least once a year in order for it to run tip-top for the season, all right? So all that's left now is you need to, well, put the dials back to where they were before, your air pressure to where it was, and put it back on the bike and start pounding it. Just remember, after the first few rides, there will be excess grease and oil coming out of the wipers. Make sure to clean it off the stanchions in order to collect less dirt so you can make the wipers' jobs easier. We always want to make the wipers' job easier. So with that being said, if you folks like this video, please click that like button, click that subscribe button to see more videos, click that bell button, ding, in order to get notified when new videos get released, and more videos like this are coming. If you want to see a couple of videos right now, these two might be of interest. And until the next time, I hope all is well with all of you, and we will be talking to you soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.